Oh, wait. Don't do it. Not yet, okay? For radio?
Yeah.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. All right, we're both back.
We're here, all tan.
Yeah, well, I got a little bit.
I got tanned. I got tanned at the beach party.
I got dry skin from sitting in the hot tub for too long.
Oh, that's funny.
A lot of chlorine skin going on here.
Did I even get into a hot tub? Yeah, we got into a hot tub at some point. Funny. So we're sitting there. We're at this all-inclusive that we just got a day pass for. They had a big pool party. We had a lot of fun. So I'm like, okay, I can't sit in the sun anymore. I've done about 6 hours of this. So I move over to the other side where the hot tub is. I get in the hot tub, and there's like 15 dudes in there. I was like, nice. So I sit down, and I start chatting with the guy next to me. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? It's kind of weird to see that, right? Yeah. And they were like, oh, we're all here for a guy's golf trip. So there was like 12 of them or something, right. And a couple other guys. Anyway, so they were all telling stories about golf. And I said, and they were from Michigan. So I'm like, so how did you guys sell this one to the wives? Come from Michigan where it's -20 to down here. And they were like, well, this, that, and we're going to kind of have to pay for it when we get back. I said, why don't you just take a picture of this hot tub with a bunch of dudes, and they'll think it's hilarious. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. They had a blast, but we had a good time. So how was your trip on the boat?
It was good, yeah. I'm glad I went. I don't think I'd do it again, but I'm glad I went.
Okay. So
we went out on a educational cruise with a bunch of entrepreneurs. And there was a guest speaker on there who was very, very powerful. So I was very happy about that. But to get out of Long Beach, California, to get back into my bed was a 13-and-a-half-hour experience.
Yeah, that's
not doing that again.
Was that the flight was delayed and all that, or no?
So there's rain and blizzards in Southern California. Oh. It's crazy out there, and then that got delayed, so we didn't get off the tarmac took us 2.5 hours to get off the tarmac. And we finally got here. We're on a big bird. So then here's the worst thing that happened. We landed in George Bush at Terminal D. I'm like, D?
Where's that?
What am I doing in D? This is horrible. And it's still under construction, and there's like clearly missing signs.
Oh.
So we're standing there. There's not one sign that tells us where the exit is.
So
we're walking around, and one lady's giving us bad directions, and finally we're like, I'm not walking all the way through E to get to C.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a way out here. I look down, I'm like, well, there's the exit. There we go. So I had to go on a little quest to get out of Terminal D. But we did. The shuttle was a mess Saturday night. Not enough shuttles running. It was just...
We almost had a fight on our flight. So we were we were the last people on board.
Oof.
So just because we were over at Margaritaville. Anyway, so we get on the plane, and stewardess is kind of screwed up. Where, when the back of the plane still has luggage open, but the only seats are in the middle, seats at the front of the plane.
You got to go all in the back, put your luggage up.
And you got to come back.
Fight the crowd. Yeah, fight the wave.
Yeah, so this gal in front of us just started throwing the attitude. And I thought I was about to see 100 pounds of fury on this other woman. I'm like, you need to calm down, lady. I don't know what the deal is, but she started getting chippy with everybody. It was a whole bunch of us. So then I sat there, and she's like, well, you guys need to move. I'm like, where can we have the luggage.
Right.
We can't move anywhere. You need to get in, sit in somebody's lap here so we can go around you. So then I was like, wait a second. I look around, all of a sudden, I'm like, where's the leadership here?
Yeah.
I look around, I'm like, okay, and there's another guy in front of Christina. So I'm like, hey, do you mind if we just pass you guys the bags in the back and y'all put them up? And he goes, teamwork makes a dream work. So I started passing bags.
Right.
So anyways, I'm passing bags. It's like a Congo line for bag. It was ridiculous. So it's actually like one of those old firemen, what do they call that?
Bucket
The fire
brigade.
brigade? Yeah, it was a bucket brigade
Yep.
with luggage. So we finally got all that sorted out and sat down. But I'm like, this woman got crazy. So then the gal that was standing next to Christina, they got to become kind of friends chatting on the plane. They were like, what was that all about? I'm like, I have no idea. But anyway, it was it was hilarious. We talked about it once we got off the flight. But that was it. Pretty uneventful.
No.
Other than getting our names called to get on the plane.
Dude, first class. I don't care how many kids are with you.
Yeah.
Fly first class.
Yeah, I do Southwest because I get they're always on time. I never have problems with baggage, all that other stuff. And this last trip, I'm like, this might be, and it's easy for me to get to Hobby. That's the other thing. I get to Hobby. I park at the terminal. I get out. I'm on the plane, And this last one, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that again. Yeah, it was a little it wasn't fun.
So we did a lot of future planning and looked at some stuff, but it was a mixed group, right? So there was a whole bunch of, new entrepreneurs or folks maybe a year or two or even 3 into their journey, right? And it frustrates me. I get pissed off. I'm like, this is 50% of the time we're spent on very simple problems.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, this is not hard. GOOGLE, right? You
Yeah.
figure out all this stuff. And, the other half of it was real serious stuff, and I was pleased to be a part of that. But it made me thinking, as I'm watching this group, and we're all, no one said this is easy.
Yes.
We're in a very simple business, but nobody said it was easy.
Right.
And then I started thinking back to our own mastermind, and I'm like, wow, boy, we got a lot of people who think it's supposed to be easy, and it's not. It's simple. We buy low, we fix it up, we rent it, we stabilize it, we refi, we wait 5 years, we sell or refi, right?
Yeah.
Very simple concept. Really, really easy. But the difficulty becomes, when the rubber hits the road, right? Devil's in the details. And I'm just listening to people who, they've got legitimate problems, but they're sophomore problems, right? And I'm like, well, you have to figure that out, or you have to get out of the industry. I don't care. Well, I don't care if you're a florist or a guy who does DJ, right? You got to figure out that sophomore problem or get out of the business.
Right.
And I started reflecting back to us, and it's just like, yeah, some of this stuff is hard. We just came out of a meeting that wasn't all that pleasant, but hey, we've got to figure this thing out. We got 10 open doors in Houston. We got to get them leased, right?
Right.
And those 10 leased will produce $15,000 a month minus the 15 negative cash. That's all good.
Yeah.
We got to get through it. You just have to do the work and get through it. And so I was thinking about that book. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike from a seminar.
Yes.
And that title has very little to do with the actual content of the book, other than the fact is you've got to go do it.
Well, the great part of it is you hear it. Anybody hearing it the first time goes, yeah, what idiot can teach a kid how to ride a bike from a seminar? And you're like, exactly.
Right.
And then they go, oh,
right.
I get it.
You think because you're going to learn all these things and watch all these videos, you can actually do it, and you can't.
Yeah.
You have to go and do it, right?
Yep.
And that was the thing, right? There were people had some cash flow problems, and the coach said, you got to sell more.
Yeah.
This is easy. Sell more.
Yep.
Get up and go, right?
Yeah, or let's also look at your overhead too. What do we have in this?
Yeah.
Oh, we got 5 family members' salaries.
Oh,
and it's
that is a big thing, yeah.
And it's like, hey, you're not ready to start taking money out of this thing yet.
Co-CEOs and co-things.
Yeah,
and like,
whatever.
ooh, that's
You're like,
bad. Yeah.
no, we're not going to do that.
Nope. You just got to go do it.
Yeah.
And you got to do it until you either figure out how to succeed or, you just lose.
Right.
Then move on.
And move. This is another thing. Whenever somebody will say, well, Jason, I got into real estate once and lost a bunch of money. I'm like, okay, well, it's not for you. And then they look at me like, wait, you're not going to convince me? I'm like, I'm not convincing you of a
Time
damn
to
thing
do that,
anymore.
yeah.
We had one of our guys up in my office, and he moved back in the day, he's a great guy, back in the day, wanted to start over, but needed some money for real estate, and just did the unthinkable. Moved his family into a trailer.
Figured it out.
He showed me his 5,000 square foot house he's buying, and he showed me the section of town where he's got over 10 rental properties. That was 6 years ago, 7 years. It wasn't that long ago.
Nice. Hey, guys, we're going to come back from this break. We're going to talk more about figuring things out. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Robert and Jason here with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour.
So I'm sitting there, and he's telling me this story, and it's the same thing with all these people, right? They are not willing to make the sacrifices. And it's like, and he told me something, he goes, and he's buying this other property, and they were going to be moving to a better school district, all that stuff. And he goes, he was joking with me, he goes, I'm taking my money out before it crashes. And so we were joking about it. He said, you know what? I don't even try to explain it to anybody anymore. I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. You want to come along? Great. If not, cool. And I'm like, I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm so exhausted of having the same, well, Jason, that's not true. That won't work out that way. And then here we are a year later. Nobody comes back to apologize and say I was wrong.
They're never going to do that. So you don't remember, was it Jim Collins, Good to Great? Mm-hmm. And he said how many CEOs they ask when they do the interviews, like, well, how'd you get here? And he just says, I was lucky. I've started taking on that persona. Wow, how'd you do it? I was lucky. Because if I explain it to you, you're not going to believe me anyway.
Right, yeah.
It's easier for you to believe that somehow I stepped in it and I don't deserve it and I'm just lucky than for you to actually understand all the time and effort I went into it.
Yeah, I'm a kid of a trust fund, and, that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works. Mom had a lot of money, and we did real well.
Yeah, and I didn't really want to get a real job, so I bought stuff in real estate, and it's just kind of worked out from there.
Yep.
You could do it too.
Yeah. Wow, how's it work? So I was saying on the trip, I was like, wow, it's amazing what you've gone through. I'm like, no, it sucked. It was horrible.
No, it's awful.
It was really, really horrible.
Yeah.
Like, well, how did it work? I'm like, yeah, it's magic.
Just magic.
It's magic. I did a little spell 12 years ago, and now I'm here.
I'm here. It was those incantations, just a couple of those.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
And, it's like, do you really want to know that I'm still working 14 hours a day? Mm-hmm. 13 years into this, I'm still working 14 hours a day, which is not good.
Yeah.
Which is said that I've screwed up somewhere along the way here.
Yeah.
I've got things to fix. No, they don't want to hear that.
No.
It's easy, guys.
It's easy. Just
it's so easy.
Just go and write a check and
Well,
actually, it's easy listening to us after going through it. That's what you really want to find. You don't want to find the guy that says, "Oh yeah, it's easy. You just do this, this, and this, done." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, but where did you screw up?" "Oh no, I've never lost money on a real estate deal." I'm like, I go back to that old saying: if you never lost money, you're either inexperienced,
right,
or you're a liar.
Well, one of the things that we had talked about, and we do this all the time, right? Most people who are telling you it's easy are just trying to sell you something. Mm-hmm. It's like, I will sell you something too. I'm just going to tell you it's really hard.
Oh, I know what I'm selling. I'm selling you work.
Yeah, this is it.
Selling you work, you don't want that.
Nobody wants it.
Yeah, if you want to be the guy in the private jet and driving the Lambo and going to the steakhouse and all that, you're going to be the guy that works. That's work.
Yes.
I don't know a single person that's a passive investor that does that. Now, they may have made their money somewhere else.
Sure.
And this is the money they're putting to work, but you're going to have to work, buddy.
Yeah, and there's always those classifications, right? It's like I was just watching a kid. He's like, "Do you want to know how I became a millionaire by the age of 21?" I'm like,
no, not really.
Nope. I do want to see your financial statements, though. I want to know what type of millionaire you are, right?
Yeah, what does that mean exactly?
He started an ad agency, and now someone gave him a 5x evaluation on it, right? So it's worth $250,000, so I'm actually worth 1.25, right? Or is it, like us, is it paper millions, right? We're paper millionaires. We got equity,
exactly.
Right?
Well, it was, that whole, I'll go back to the whole FTX thing. It was really interesting to see all the stuff that came out through the Twitter, the SEC Twitter lawsuit with Elon Musk, because Sam Bankman-Fried was going to back Twitter to like $1 billion. Mm-hmm. So Elon comes back. There's these text messages between him and is either his lawyer or his business rep. I can't remember what the guy actually does, but he's his right-hand man that gets involved in acquisitions and all that stuff. So he sent him a text back. He goes, "Wait a minute, the guy's liquid to $1 billion?" And he's like, well, he wants to meet. He says he has it. He goes, wait a minute, this guy?
Right.
Because no one's ever liquid to $1 billion. Like you just, now if you're, I don't even know how much cash Apple has, but if they carry a lot
Prince?
of cash.
Maybe he's a prince?
I don't know. It was like this guy?
Prince?
Because no smart guy keeps a bill liquid. No. So, and if they're reserves, that doesn't mean you're liquid.
How'd that work out for him?
Those are just reserve. Right. But Elon was calling BS from right out of the gate. He's like, this guy, doesn't sound right at all. I don't even want to take the meeting.
What he was saying in the FTX thing is, my assumption would be, hey, I can steal $1 billion for you.
Oh, yeah, it could be, yeah. I mean, I got $1 billion. It just ain't mine.
It isn't technically mine, but we can watch it here, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was interesting where it's like, hey, when you really get to certain places in your career, in your investment career, you start hearing things and you hear somebody did, this guy did X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, how did that work exactly? Because that hasn't been my experience after 7 syndications and 2 funds. So.
It's like people who are looking for money, right? They're looking for the one big whale. It's like, that ain't happening.
It's not it.
Let me tell you, the casino doesn't make their money off the whale.
No.
They're making their money off of me and you are going in there knowing that we're going to lose a couple $1,000.
That's right.
So it's the same thing. You've got to go and find someone who's going to give you $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 because it ain't going to ever be more than that on the first time around.
It's pretty rare.
Yep.
Most of the, most of the deals I did, it's like when I ran into the guys when I was still doing that show up in Dallas, and they had just closed some $250 million. It was some ridiculous deal, huge deal. Yeah. $50-60 million cap raise. And so they're coming off stage, and I'm about to get on stage to do a show on multifamily, single family, all that stuff. And I said, well, how do you guys raise it? You know, how do you raise 50-60 mils? Institutional guys? Like, nah. We do it just like you, man. It's 100 to 250 grand at a time. And he said, we got a lot of people, guys have a couple $1 million that they want to put into real estate. And then they pick different projects with us. But he said, you very rarely get somebody that puts in $1 million, $2 million. He said, now it happens on some projects, but most of the time they want to stay kind of diversified amongst our projects.
Right.
So it's 100 to 250,000 bucks a pop. And I was like, that seems reasonable. He goes, and he said, you will get the big ones, but 95% of it's just a couple of bucks here and there.
Yeah. So,
how many people have you met when they talk about Chinese money and they talk about
Nigerian
money?
This town's about Nigerian money.
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh, it's coming.
LA and Vegas for Chinese money.
It's coming. I ran into a guy from Calgary that we got to meet. Just ran into him at one of the restaurants we were at. Then we started hanging out at the bar. He says he's got 5 or 6 properties, and he said, it's a Chinese up here buying a lot of this stuff. I said, yeah, well, Trudeau stepped in, did some stuff, and so we kind of talked about that. And then what's going on in Seattle. But those guys are never investors. He said they go in. He said this is what they do.
I know. Exactly
they go in, pay $4 million or something, turn the lights off, and leave. I said all they're doing is parking money here. Yep. So in case something bad happens at home, they can fly over here, sell that house for half, and they got $2 million.
Yeah, because they realize 8% economic growth for 20 years straight is not a real number.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's China, by the way. It's not a real number. With a shrinking population, by the way.
Oof.
So
I went down that rabbit hole for a day.
Oh, did you?
It's bad.
Oh, it's real bad. That's why I don't think everyone's getting all worked up over China. The best thing they could do is start a war. Because that country is circling the bowl generationally.
Yeah.
And so is Europe when you really get into the statistics. So that's why I'm like,
you know who's doing well?
Who's that? Texas?
We are.
Yeah, Texas is getting younger.
Getting younger?
We got a lot of these foreigners coming in.
Yeah.
From states like California.
Jersey.
And Jersey. All them foreigners buying our land up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny too.
Why
don't you buy it?
Yeah, why don't you buy it, man? That's immediately when these guys get all worked up. I'm like, your net worth is coming from all these foreigners coming in here, right?
Your retirement plan, which is your single-family home you own, is going up in value because of guys from California and Jersey. But that's okay.
So the place we go in Mexico, the vast majority of the time, even when we go to the tourist places, very few Americans. It's mostly rich Mexicans, Latin Americans, and a bunch of Europeans. So you can always tell when the Americans show up because it starts getting loud.
It's like me. It's like me walking in.
Like, hey, what's going on? You're like, oh my God, it's nice and quiet. Why are you so loud?
Hey, we're going to be back right after this break. Hang tight. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. Hey, we have a lot of events coming up this month of March. Make sure you're getting into it. This is the month for doers. All the dreamers have already got their hearts broken in January, February.
Oh, that's right. Now I can start going back to the gym.
Now we can actually go back to the gym. We can talk to people about real numbers, and we're starting that this Thursday. So you're hearing this on Tuesday night. In 2 nights from now, we're going to have a real understanding of what's going on in the market. Not thoughts, not I think, not gut feelings, but real economic data. It's called Red Talk. Go to mrtxre.com, mrtxre.com. Go to our event page, sign up for Red Talk. It's like $10, and there's more likely going to be a cheap beer there for you. So, but come and learn about the marketplace, right? In order to be a successful investor, one thing you have to understand is the economic data in the place that you're investing in. That's really, really critical. So we're going to do that on Thursday night, and then I will be in Corpus for the weekend.
Ooh.
Yes.
You go check on some of my places for me?
I'm
see if
going
they're
to go.
still standing?
Yes.
We got a lot of insurance, so we're good. I'm not worried about it. They're fine. But, I sent you a development deal down there.
No.
Yes.
It's too big.
60 acres?
That's too big.
I don't know, man.
See if we'll subdivide for 5 so we can bite-sized pizzas.
Zoned to a really good school. I don't know.
I don't know either.
The price wasn't bad, and that's probably, he's got it jacked up by at least 50%.
Maybe.
I like that number in the 5s.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sweet. We'll see. I don't know how tough development is down there. Maybe Travis can chat.
You'd have to import everyone, just like every other contractor. I mean, all that highway work and all. The guys out of San Antonio. They're out of Austin. They're out of Houston, El Paso.
Yeah.
They don't. That marketplace does not have the labor to do that. They have to grow that labor.
Yeah.
So that's what Travis and I were talking about. It's like, man, if we just planted a home improvement flag here, we'd be rich.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have that labor. They don't have the people to put those pieces together.
So the folks I was hanging out with in Playa del Carmen, he had a pretty strong team, but he said, because we were talking about it, he said, no, you're absolutely right. Labor is a huge problem there.
Yep.
Because he said the labor that's here, the blue-collar labor that's here is getting paid at the port in oil and gas. They're not working for these other firms.
They're not.
So he said one of the reasons Schlitterbahn fell apart overnight, they couldn't get the bodies to staff the place. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. He said, yeah, they couldn't get, lifeguards and concession people and all that because they just go work for oil or
absolutely, sure, yeah,
or the shipping industry. And he goes, that they just get paid there. So I thought, wow, that's really interesting. But if you look in those, I'm really been digging in and out of the comps, so I'm getting a really good idea of what's going on down there. Even though we've been investing down there forever.
Yeah.
But one of the things I'm finding is there's just nobody to do rehabs. So when you're pulling your comps, and by the time you do a refinance, you are the highest comp in that area.
Yep.
By like 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
Because nobody rehabs down there. They just can't. Unless hubby's
we just brought in a
handyman.
crew from California.
Oh, we did, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Are they going to live down there or are they going to live up
They're
here?
there for a year. That's my commitment to them. So.
Oh, okay.
But they're going to take on 2 jobs at a time. It's like, okay, let's go.
All right. I can do that all day long.
So listen, if you're a landlord and you're looking at other markets in the state, not just Corpus, maybe San Antonio, some Orange, Beaumont, Arthur, you're looking at that triangle out there, Port Arthur. I'm going to tell you that you should probably give us a shout. And so we look back and looked and say, who are the most successful people in our mastermind? We have found that it is existing landlords looking to extend their portfolio, right? Or folks that went through some other teacher, club, whatever, and it didn't quite work out because they didn't quite understand all the resources needed. And they come to us and we kind of lay it out on the line on day one. So if that's you, hey, I've got a rental property. I got it too. I'm listening to these guys because I think they know what they're talking about, and maybe I can get a couple deals and figure out how to move forward. You definitely want to go to callwithmrtxre.com. Callwithmrtxre.com. All one word, .com. Check it out. Again, we've made landlords basically give up their day job now. They're traveling the country. They're starting their own groups. I mean, we've been very, very successful with folks that have just a little tiny bit of experience and need to figure out how to 10x their business. And so they come to us. We sit down with them. We say, hey, here's the reality. I know how you've done it before. Let me guess where your blockade is, where you're held up. And we'll say this, or this. They're like, yep, it's that. Great. We know how to fix that. And do you also know about this? No, I don't understand about how to get the financing. Great. We can fix that too. And then all of a sudden, we've got a guy who goes from 2 properties or 3 properties to 11 properties. And their life changes. So if you're already a landlord of 1 or 2 properties, maybe 1 Airbnb or something along the lines, or you're just thinking about it and you have the resources are critical. You got to have a good FICO score. When we say good FICO, 700 or above. And here's the thing that breaks a whole bunch of hearts. You got to make 6 figures. It's really, really hard becoming a landlord, buying rental properties or apartments without a good, steady job underneath you. Mm-hmm. Whether it's 1099 or W-2, you've got to have consistent income. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is you got to have cash to deploy. And we know people have lots and lots of cash. There's $1 trillion sitting out there that people are unable to deploy. So if that's you, and you've been following us and understand all the trials and tribulations and successes that we have had, and you're ready to come on board, go to callwithmrtxre.com. Callwithmrtxre.com. I think, Jason, that's it. I mean, if it's those 3 resources.
Yeah.
Right? And then you got to fix your mind. But someone who's already been in the business, who need to go to the next level, we're the perfect group for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll take newbies, but...
we will. But we're not teaching wholesaling, unfortunately.
Not teaching wholesaling. We're not teaching how to flip. We're not...
No. I'll show you how to run a management, how to project manage a flip, but yeah.
I don't know. I don't like flips. You make more money in buying.
Well, all we're doing is 5-year flips, right?
Yeah, we're just buying them.
5-year flips.
Everything is actually a flip.
That's right.
When you really get down to it.
Yeah.
Commercial real estate's a flip. No one ever doesn't sell. Right. Very few never sell. Mm-hmm. So you buy them and you fix them and you wait a couple years. You go, I guess I'm going to sell that one. You sell it, make $100,000 to $200,000, and go to the next one. And you just kind of keep doing that. And that's your career. Make a couple $1 million, 10, 15, 20, $30 million. It's the same in commercial, same in apartments, same. There's no, the business is simple. It's a real simple business.
Yeah.
And then everybody's ego gets involved and they try and make it really complicated. And it's like, Jason, where's the next, you know where the next hotspot is? What zip code are you in? That's the next one. Well, why is that hot? Because it's in Texas.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah. They're always looking for it. Yeah. And they've been trained that way through the RIA clubs.
Yeah, but
they've been trained every month. There's something new. There's another new thing. There's another new thing. Another new thing. And we've said it here many, many times, right? You become a billionaire by doing the boring stuff, right? Same day in, day out. Get better, expand.
And most billionaires don't hit that status until they're 65.
Yeah, right. With plenty of time. For God's sake.
They have to make their first $1 million by 35. So it's like, then there's 30 years there. Yep. And they usually don't hit that billionaire status till real close to their mid-60s.
So we got like 5 people in our mastermind that are under 35 that are very close to $1 million in assets.
Yeah.
They could take that trajectory.
They could, yeah. But the difference between what you build a portfolio with for $1 million and what you get to $1 billion is a completely different ballgame.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Not
you're taking pension money all over.
Yeah, that's a whole nother ballgame.
That's where you're taking that $1 billion Saudi money, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Robert Jason. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. Make sure you go to our website, mrtxre.com. Look for our events that we have coming up here. And if you're ready to take the next step, you want to 10x your little portfolio there, go ahead and hit us up at callwithmrtxre.com. Callwithmrtxre.com. Last one? Ugh. Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. So we started today, and we're still talking about life, right? It's not easy. There are some very, very simple things you can do, but even the simplest of Buddhist monks still will have challenges, right? And so we've got to face these challenges and get through them. That's what we're really talking about. No one promised you it was going to be easy. Man, if anyone refers to Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube about how easy it looks there, I end that conversation. Like, you're not in reality.
I always ask the first question, how many followers do you have? Oh, I got a couple thousand. You do this and this. I'm like, all right, so I got 15,000, and I hadn't really done much to get there. So you tell me how to turn this into some kind of influencer sort of thing, because I don't even think I'm there yet.
Right.
And you're going to be the subject matter expert. I'm like, I don't think so, dude.
They don't understand it. You got to do the work, guys. Just do the work. I don't know how else to say it. You got to step forward, make an offer, take down a deal, do the work. And the more work you do, the harder it becomes because you're growing so dang fast, right?
Yeah.
It'll start tripping. And then on that hockey stick, and we see people hit that hockey stick trajectory, they're like, man, I'm going up. I'm getting a lot of deals. Now I'm working 10 hours. Like, yep, keep going. We're growing. Yeah. This is what growth looks like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, a lot of people in our mastermind, a lot of people we know, they go off and they work for Exxon or Halliburton, whatever, BP. They sit in that cubicle and they make that 3, 5, 7, 8% increase. They make their bonuses, and it's just step up, step up. It's very gradual over 30 years, and now they're making, $220,000. God bless them. Right? That's excellent. And they come to us, and we're like, you see this mountain? We got to run up this mountain as fast as possible.
We got to get up this mountain right
now. Let's go. It's like, but I've done 20 years of slow growth. I get it. We're going up that thing right now.
Yeah. I'll sit there and go, all right, you're making $250,000 a year, right? Did you make that right out of college? No. Well, could you do the job you're doing now without going to college? Well, no. Okay, so we started at 18.
Right.
And we went to undergrad, and then a lot of times those folks went to grad school.
Sure.
While they're working. And then you did this promotion, you did this overseas thing, you did this offshore thing, and then you did all that, and after 20 years, this is where you've gotten. And you want to do that in 2 years in an industry you know nothing about. Good luck, buddy.
Yep.
We had one guy tell us, like, I want to make $1 million in my first year.
No, he left him.
I'm like, dude, you can't even do construction on the projects you need to buy to get to $1 million in a year. Like, you don't understand.
He left. He left after lunch on the second day.
It's like going to the Air Force and saying, hey, you know what? I'll go do your little basic training thing, but in a year, I want to be, actually, I guess it'd be the Navy. I want to be a member of the Blue Angels, which is their premier, obviously, combat. And all those guys are combat guys. Yep. So it's like, no, that's not how this works. You're going to go to flight school, and then you're going to do a couple of tours, and, then if you're lucky, you might get here. It's like, no, man, that's not how this works. Does anything work like that in your life?
Nothing.
Nothing works like that.
You got to do the work.
Got to do the work.
And as it grows, you're going to figure out more and more things, right? And how do you figure these things out? They're problems that you solve. Mm-hmm. It's called wisdom.
Well, it's interesting. It's like, what did they say? Youth is waste on the...
Youth is wasted on the young, right?
Youth is wasted on the young, and wisdom is wasted on the old.
Yep.
Because I see old folks with wisdom that completely throw it out of their brains whenever we talk about investing. Yep. Like, you realize you've got a few $1 million. It took you 35 years to get that money. And you want to double it in 6 months. If you could have doubled it, why didn't you do it 35 years ago? Oh, gotcha. I got it. Okay.
So we tell people, hey, 3, 5, 7 years, this is what's going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. But you got to get going now.
Yeah.
The longer you wait to move on your first one, you're exponentially creating longer timelines.
Yes.
Because once you get it going, once you start getting into the action, by year 3, things are happening. Mm-hmm. Things are happening, right? A lot of folks here by year 3, they don't need us.
Right.
They come around for the camaraderie and they want to pick up a nugget or two, but most people that have been doing it through 3 years are like, hey, I'm good. I don't need to be here anymore.
Here's the reality. With exception to very few fields or subjects in your life, you ought to be here about 6 months where you really start moving. We try and get you into your first deal in the first 12 weeks.
Yeah, 90 days. So.
Because I know exactly how your next year is going to go by the first 12 weeks. I can tell you exactly where you're going to be depending on how much action you take in the first 12 weeks. So after about 6 months, you ought to have a couple of properties under your belt. Now, maybe they're not completely rehabbed. You're in the refi process.
Yeah.
One just got a tenant. It's not like it's done. But you've got enough momentum and you're getting enough practice on the process that you can really get some steam going. And then you're only calling me every now and then like, hey, man, I got a problem with X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, text back, good. And they're off to the races, right? I was telling somebody this. I'm meeting with a bunch of our new mastermind folks. I got another one tonight. And this is what I tell them, like, when does your car use the most amount of gas? When you're getting on the freeway.
Yep.
Like, it is burning fuel. But once it gets on the freeway, you put in cruise control and it just kind of sits there and just kind of pokes along on the freeway with all the other cars.
For the record, I don't use gas anymore.
That's true. Okay. Well, when your battery power. You could probably see that. I bet it shows you on there somewhere when you floor it to get on the freeway. It goes, you have 6 minutes until
black,
empty.
It goes,
oh, does it?
The black is draining and the green is recharging.
Oh, I got you. So for those of you driving electric cars, you can hear the whine of that battery as it's discharging on the freeway. But anyway, so you use all of your power getting on and then once you're on the road, you're just kind of poking along. And so I tell people, I'm like, look, the first 5 or 6, maybe not 5, but the first 2 to 4 of these things are kind of a pain. You're learning a lot of stuff. You know, it's, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't realize that. It's like, yeah, that's okay. But once you get those first 4, 5, 6 deals done, then you're just kind of cruising. You're like, okay, I'll take this one. I'll take that one. All right, let me send all my stuff over to the mortgage company. Here's the contract. Like all that whole process starts to make a lot more sense. But the problem is certain attitude types, certain personalities require for whatever reason to know every single step in the process. It's kind of like saying, okay, Jason, I want to play Major League Baseball, and I need to know every single step I have to take in order to get there. I'm like, well, no one can write that manual. Or not only that, I want to be a Hall of Fame player, and I need to know every step. Okay, I'm going to go into this little league, and then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to go to this college, and then I'm going to get recruited. It's not how it works. There's a lot of these little pitfalls. Now, you could say in general, like, this is how it works, guys. You get signed, you got an agent, all this stuff. But there's not a detailed line-by-line process. What am I going to do in every single game to get to that goal? And it's like, look, the game is dynamic. The market is dynamic. Geez, just look at the price of construction and materials. It's dynamic. The overall goal is the same. I want to buy X number of properties because I want this kind of net worth at this time. Or I've got this goal this year. How do I accomplish it? But the other things, the details can be quite dynamic. And that really throws people for a loop. They're like, well, Jason, how does this work if this is the big picture? I'm like, look, the big picture is real simple. If you don't believe me, pull up a chart. Go to the FRED database. That's the Federal Reserve. Type in price of real estate. Pick your state, pick your city, whatever. And look how long they've been tracking that data. And what you'll notice is over time, it always goes up. I'll tell you right now, I would love to go back in time 6 months before the real estate crash and buy everything I could have gotten my hands on at the all-time highs, and then it crashed. Because guess what? 18 to 24 months later, they were worth more. Yeah. People get all freaked out.
Yeah, because if you bought at the peak of the crash, you'd have gotten really great mortgage opportunities.
Yeah, you would have.
You get great financing, right?
Financing was easy back then. You didn't have to have a pulse. Right. They gave you a mortgage. I mean,
that's funny.
Shoot.
That's good.
We get root canals over here still for mortgages. I mean, it's not really bad, but it's like, it's kind of still a pain.
Hey guys, hang tight with us and we'll get a little message coming back and then we're going to be done for the night. We appreciate you as always. Check us out again tomorrow night. Take care.